Hi, I'm Gypsy. Welcome to Move, Pilates. This is the Learning and Mastering series. However, in this particular series today, we are working on the full mat series. So this will be a 30-minute workout, moving through the Pilates mat series just as Joseph Pilates created it. So this first 30 minutes is part one. When you finish this one, you're welcome to move on to part two, which will be coming later. You're gonna need your mat, yourself, your breath, and possibly a couple blankets to support either your neck or your lower back. So let's get started. Just before we start laying down, I want to get the breath moving and get everything in the spine awake and ready to go. So bring your hands to your knees and let's just start with that Pilates breath. We're going to inhale, take the diaphragm and expand. Exhale, round back. Navel comes in. Remember pelvic floor. Drawing that energy up and into the transverse abdominis. It's almost like a little elevator coming up inside to your navel. 3 more. Last one. Good. Now let's bring it onto the mat. So sitting in the center, let's just do a little bit of C-spine and the curvature into the neutral spine. So starting in neutral, elbows are pinned down by the waistline. We're gonna sit nice and tall. If you need to, of course, sit up on a blanket. Same thing. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, round. Keep the chin level. Rib cage in. Imagine a nice string pulling you up and a string pulling you back. 2 more. Just gets the spine fluid and flexible and strong in your abdominals. Last one. Good. You can use that curve to bring yourself down. I'm going to use a blanket today behind my neck just because it feels good. So we're going to start now with our legs up in tabletop, 90 degrees, neutral hips, keeping the back of the sacrum bone anchored into the mat. Open chest, arms come down. Getting warmed up with some abdominal curls before the breathing 100s. Inhale, arms circle overhead. Exhale, circle them down, connect, and lift. Head is coming up from the abdominal curl. Three more. Check to press the heels together. Last one. Good. Neck is happy and quite soft. Now you can stay here for breathing 100s with the legs in table, or you can extend them into Pilates stance 90 degrees, or even take them down just a little bit more. It's your choice. 5 count breath, in and out, staccato rhythm. Open your heart. Check your neck. 3 more to go. Last one. Lengthen the legs. Take the arms way overhead. And just take a moment to open the ribs and the chest to feel that warmth that we just created. Moving right into the roll up. The roll up, I like to imagine like a wave rolling up and rolling back out to the ocean. So taking the arms behind you over the head, legs reach out nice and long, neutral hips. Inhale to get some lift. Exhale, hollowing the belly. Inhale, tall, and roll down. Keep the shoulders down. Tall through the back of the body and slow control. If you start to notice that the legs want to lift, for example, the legs pop up a bit, that just might tell you where you can draw down more into your lower belly. Pull up the pelvic floor, really draw those muscles up and in, keep them up, squeeze the inner thighs up into the pubic bone. And somehow when I do this exercise, I always move. It's like up and down somehow. It's like a little bit of a caterpillar. So let's do 3 more. Last one. Good. Now, we're going to move the blankets out of the way if you've had them there for your head. Just put them off to the side for now. And our next exercise is called the roll over. So this one's a little bit more challenging. If you're a beginner, you might want to just practice the roll up one more time. It's more of an intermediate exercise. It's really great because it lengthens the spine. So I will demonstrate and then we'll do them together. Important is to press the back of the shoulder blades and the back of your skull, the back of your head down into the mat. You're going to bring the legs back through tabletop. Anchor and connect. Then extend the legs as much as you can, even if your knees are bent, that's fine, to 90 degrees. We're going to be rolling the legs up and overhead. So I'm going to start by breathing in, gathers my energy, and then exhale, I'm going to lift over and keep my legs parallel to the mat, navel to spine. Open the legs on the inhale. Press down as you lower through the back of the head, the back of the shoulders, and keep the back flat. Inhale, squeeze the legs together. The exhale rolls you over. Open the legs, inhale, and exhale, rolling down. Press down on the triceps, down on the skull, glue your upper back, and if you want to, you can take your legs a little further away for your abdominal work and close them together. Here we go. Breathe in and out. Inhale, open. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, close. Inhale, open, and close. Now we'll reverse. Leave the legs apart, and you'll slide them overhead with the legs apart. So this takes a lot of control. Here we go. Breathe in and out. Close them at the top. Gather your energy and control down, ribs down. feels so good to the lower back. Squeeze the legs and good. 2 more. Keep the space. And last one. Wow, I can really feel this. Warming my bones, warming the muscles, and controlling the spine to lengthen. Good. Oh, beautiful. Now bend the knees and we're gonna roll up. And practice rolling like a ball. So rolling like a ball, we're gonna squeeze into the tiniest little ball that we can find. Shoulders long, away from the ears, and we're gonna take the feet just a little bit off the mat. So you wanna find your balancing position here. The breath will be like an accordion. You're gonna inhale, open, exhale, squeeze. And I like that image as I'm rolling because it helps to somehow just make it feel better. So imagine you're your round object and you're gonna breathe like an accordion. The head comes in, exhale. Breathing in and out. Finding the center. Trying to keep the feet off. Ooh. So if you find any little bumps in the road, that's an indicator of where you are tight in your lower back or middle back or anywhere along the way. So just see if you can smooth out those bumps, just like you're smoothing out the road, and do 3 more. And finish. Come up now for teaser and feel that core strength working for you. Pelvic floor lifts up like an elevator, navel to spine. We bring the ribs in. We're gonna transition now down, down, down from teaser into single leg stretch. Shoulders down, happy neck. Take a 2 count breath, single leg stretch. Navel is in. Muscles strong in the legs. 2 more. Last one. And come in. Take your head down if you need to. Also, you're welcome to put the blanket back under your head here. So from single leg stretch, we move into double leg stretch. Both arms and legs go in and out. I kind of like to think of this as like the Big Bang. The Big Bang and like a little tiny quantum particle, if you get what I'm talking about. It's like imagery really helps here. So we're gonna go from a tiny squeeze to kind of the Big Bang. Inhale, you're gonna stretch everything away from your center. And then on the exhale, circle the arms, grab the legs, and keep the hips down. We'll do 6 of these. Expand. And last one. Good, nice. Now, place your left leg straight down and the right leg comes up. Roll the shoulders open and down your back. Working on single leg circles. So just as it describes, with the single leg is going to circle. Anchor, deep. Upper body presses deep into the mat from the back. Inhale as the leg moves away from you. Exhale, bring it towards you. There's a slight rotation in the hip. We're slightly turning out that leg. Unless that doesn't feel good for you, of course, you would know your own body. So if you sometimes feel a little clunk in the hip, that's an indicator that you can change the angle and the position of the leg just slightly. So let's reverse. The goal here is to keep the pelvis stable. We are going for the stability so that there's freedom for the leg to move. If you start to feel that the hip is lifting or you're out of control, then either make your circle smaller or really clue into where we're working from. Good. Now, let's finish just by stretching it out. Bring the knee in, relax. Stretch the leg up, circle the ankle, because that feels good. So we want to have flexibility as well as stability. Good, there we go. And then just drop it down. Ready for the second side? You might already notice that one side feels very different than the first. Much more open. Second side comes up, anchor, single leg extends, and we inhale and exhale. You might notice that I'm keeping my fingers on my hip bones. It's just something I personally like to do because it allows me to stay in check with the stability of my pelvis, which is what is going to keep us long and tall and healthy and strong by having a healthy pelvis. Let's reverse. Circle. So even though we're moving the leg, the control center of the leg is coming from your abdominals and your pelvic floor. Last one. And bring it in. Good. Oh, I had a little crunchies in my hip. So that's kind of an indicator for me where I know that my angle was a little bit overextended. So you can get to know your body as you're working. Let's extend the leg up. Give it a nice stretch. Circle your ankle to bring some blood flow into the toes. Great. So now that we've stretched these legs out, let them drop down. We'll move into single leg kicks. These are a little bit like scissor kicks. We'll take a 2-count breath, come up into tabletop, extend the arms, soften, and connect. Legs are going to come up straight into Pilates stance, and each leg will separate for 2 counts. Keep going, pulling that top leg towards you. Ribs are in. How's your pelvic floor? Pull it in, and let's do 2 more. In, out, out. Last one. Good. And feet come back to Pilates stance. You can bring your hands behind your head and what looks like relax, but we're about to move into double leg pulls. Again, if your hamstrings are tight, bend the knees. Otherwise, zip them up and rotate into Pilates stance. I like to imagine there's 25 kilos sitting on my pelvis here to keep it down. Neutral hips. We're gonna do 6 of these. Double leg pulls. You're gonna inhale the legs away from you and then pull them from the center back up to the top. Here we go. Very important to keep the hips grounded. The back of the sacrum grounds on the mat. We want to avoid this kind of lifting or falling into this lower back here. We want to keep it extended. Last 2. Good. Bend the knees and come up for the crisscross. So the crisscross comes from tabletop. You're going to lift the head and support it with the hands. Crisscrossing is working our obliques, and we're going to keep the neck nice and long. So we're going to inhale to the center, and on the exhale, you're going to twist, looking towards the elbow and the other elbow towards the knee. Take the leg higher if it's too much for your lower back. Inhale, center. It's not so much about how low you take your leg, it's about how can we keep the hips stable. So we want to avoid the twisting or the rocking, but instead stay grounded. Ground control. Joseph Pilates called it ground control. Of course, it makes me think of David Bowie. Last one. And rest. Take an exhale and prepare to come up and sit. As you come up and sit, you should probably notice that even just sitting feels different. We have pulled in our foundation and we've made our building of our body very, very strong. So we're going to now stretch our spine out in what's called spine stretch forward. I suggest sitting up onto a couple blankets, even if this is easy for you. So depending on what you have there at home, you can also use a pillow or a bolster. And I don't really need them, but I just like them anyways because it just feels like I'm above my hips. So you're going to sit up onto the blanket and extend out from the hips. The reason why is because we're trying to get the space between the rib and the top of the hip here as opposed to being down. So let's come up, and if you need to, bend your knees for the hamstrings or the back of the knees. We're going to extend straight with those legs. Pull the ribs in. Holding out as if you're a dancer, holding a ball maybe. And we're going to inhale taller than we've ever been. And on an exhale, spine stretches, roll down, roll down, roll down, roll down, roll down. And as you roll down, pull the navel in. Inhale tall, like you're wearing a crown on your head, and roll. Feels so good. One more to go. And come on up, beautiful. Now, take the blanket out of the way and we go to one more roll. This roll is called the open leg rocker. So instead of rolling like a ball, we imagine we're a rocking chair. And take the legs, extend them, hold just lower than your ankle. And you're gonna find your balance here. Whoa. Okay, some days better than the others. Use that same breath, inhale back, exhale to come up and hold. Find it. Pelvic floor helps you. Stay tall in the neck. And keep the shoulders low. Whoa, I almost overshot that one. And we'll take a finish. Moving now, just control those legs down and open them for the seesaw. The seesaw, we're gonna start twisting finally a little bit more. Take your legs on the outside of your mat. So not too wide, not too little, but just right there. And again, if you need to, sit up onto a blanket, okay? I'll demonstrate that just in case. The seesaw is for hip stability. So we want to find that space. We want to use the navel and the ribs to come in. And we take the arms out wide. On an inhale, we turn and rotate. And on an exhale, the seesaw is going to tilt. Inhale, turn, and one big breath, 2 short breaths. Look backwards. If you can. Keep the hips square. Last one. Good, and come to the center. So now we're gonna come up and have a seat. Just notice how you're feeling. We've gone through about a third to a half of the Pilates mat series, and there will be a part 2 coming up in the next 30-minute sequence. So you're welcome to continue practicing and improving. It never ever stops. That's why it's called a practice. So I hope you enjoyed this part 1 of the Pilates mat series, and I will see you again soon. Thanks.